Well, friends, so once again, I welcome you all on this virtual platform, and I welcome you for lecture number 4. Friends, in lecture number 3, I gave you the explanation for a Hermitian operator, and I gave you the definition of Hermitian operator, and we have discussed two important theorem about the Hermitian operator. Today, I would like to give you some problems, numerical problems related to the Hermitian operator. So today's lecture, I will describe mainly the numerical problems associated with an Hermitian operator and some problems I have selected for a commutator of the two operators. We have already defined what is a commutator of the two operators, so that we will take some problems to understand the rules for commutator. So, well, friends, let us proceed further. So, we have the first example which I have selected, and we want to show that the operator d square by dx square, second order differentiation, second order differential, I would say, d square by dx square is a Hermitian operator. So this we would like to prove that d square by dx square is an Hermitian operator. So let us recollect the definition of the Hermitian operator. Look at this expression here. I wrote that if A is the Hermitian operator, then the scalar product of psi m, the eigenfunction psi m with A psi n is always equal to the scalar product of A psi m with psi n. So here you see, if A is the Hermitian, then you see that the operator A is associated with the second factor in the scalar product, and on the right hand side your Hermitian operator is associated with the first factor of the scalar product. So if this operator d square by dx square is a Hermitian operator, then this condition should be justified. That means if you solve the left hand side, if you solve the right hand side, they must be equal. So to do this, let us work out the problem. So I take first the left hand side here. Look at this, my left hand side. So this is psi m, so I wrote psi m. A, my operator A is, I want to test. So my test operator is d square by dx square. So I'm keeping this d square by dx square. So I mean to say that A is replaced by d square by dx square operating on psi n. So this is basically the bracket notation. And now this bracket notation I am converting into the integral notation. So this we have discussed. So this is the scalar product. So psi m, so it will be psi m star d square by dx square sine dx. So this integration we have to solve in order to solve the left hand side of this equation. So look at this equation. This equation is having two variables. One is psi m star, and you have this d square by dx square psi n. I mean to say that this equation can be solved by integration by parts. So I want to solve this integration, so I will take this with the integration by parts. So I wrote this law here. What is the integration by part? If you have two function u of x, v of x, and if you differentiate ux, v of x with respect to x, this integration can be solved with the help of integration by parts. It will be u into integration of v dx, and you keep the limit from lower limit is a to b. Then you have a minus sign. Then you have integration from a to b. Then your variable u you have to differentiate with respect to x du by dx, and then you take integration of v dx, and it is all integrated with respect this side here. This is not printed, but it is dx here. This letter is dx. Few people know this law. So let us work out this. So now to understand solve this one, so this is the integration. This integration I wrote it here. So my u is nothing but psi star, and v is nothing but d square by dx square operating on psi, and this is my v. So apply the law. So the law is that you have to keep u first, right? So let us see. Uh, so you can see here, you can keep u here. So u is nothing but psi star. So I'm keeping psi star. Then you have integration. So I kept integration. Then integration of v dx. Your v is this d square by dx square sin, right? This is your v. So I put d square by dx square sin, and you have to integrate with respect to dx, and this entire thing is changing from a to b. Lower limit is a, upper limit is b, or lower limit is minus infinite, upper limit is plus infinite, so I write minus infinite to plus infinite. Then you have a minus sign here, so I put a minus sign. Then you have an integration, so I put an integration from a to b, that is minus infinite to plus infinite. Then you differentiate du by dx, so it is u is psi star, so it is d by dx psi star. Please remember, I hope you should understand this step. Then integration, so I write integration v dx, this is v dx, your v is here, d square by dx square sin, so that I'm keeping here. And this entire integration, this is the integrand, this integrand, and it is integrated with respect to x. So please try to understand, this is solved with the help of the law by integration by parts. Now you see this integration which I am writing here, this is psi m star, so I am writing psi m star. Now this is d square by dx square, this is second order, and it is integrated with respect to dx. So one differentiation d by dx is compensated here, right? Because it is cancelled by this integration dx. So instead of having a second order differentiation, you will have a first order difference, d by dx, right? D by dx psi n from minus infinite to plus infinite. Please remember this. Here, you please try to understand, correct? And now you see this particular step is vanishing. This I would like to explain. Even if you don't suppose you don't solve this term, but look at this psi m star, and you see that the limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite. So if you put a lower limit and upper limit is plus infinite. So you can see your wave function psi m at infinity. Whenever you consider a wave function should be always finite, it is single valued, and it is normalized when you consider the wave function here. So if you consider the wave function at the end point, at the infinity plus infinity is psi, and this is the other end, that is minus infinity. So if you solve this term, please remember, even if you do not solve this part, but look at this psi star. This psi star at one end plus infinity, one last term, extreme end plus infinite endpoint. Psi star at minus infinity. So psi m wave function at infinity is zero, right? So this term disappears. I know. I think now you will understand that the first term is vanishing because wave function at infinity approaches to zero, right? So now we have only one term is left. This is with the minus sign. This minus sign is already preceded here, so I keep the minus sign here and look at the remaining part. So d by dx, so d by dx is here. You have a psi star, so psi star. Then you have a differentiation of psi with respect to x. So this is d sine by dx v dx. So again you get a integration, and again there are two functions here, d by dx sine star, and this is d sine by dx, right? So this is again, you can solve this integration by part. So again I consider this term as a as a function of u of x, and this term d sine by dx, d sine by dx, I consider another function v of x. So this is u of x, this is a v of x, and now again I apply the integration by parts. Look at that, the minus sign is here, so I keep a minus sign here, and now look this equation how I solve. This is the integration by part, so I keep this integration by part. You see, first I keep u, so this integration, so I keep u, that is nothing but d by dx of sine star. Then you have integration of d sine by dx, so d sine by dx, right? And that is integrated from minus infinite to plus infinite, right? And this is a law, so you have a minus sign, and this integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Now you have to take du by dx. So du is this is u, du by dx. So d by dx of u. So this is u. Then you have to take integration of v dx. So this is v. So this is d sine by dx. So this is integration of v dx, and it is all integrated with respect to x, right? This is the entire integrand. I think this you have to, when you calculate, you have to write down this step very carefully, and you see this integration. Again, look at the first term. Look at the first term here. The first term, you know that this term is d by dx sine star. This will give you this. But this term, this is integration of d sine by dx into dx. So this will give me psi n. In this term, the integration of d sine by dx with respect to x will give me psi n. So if you look at this term is nothing but d by dx of sine star into psi n, because this will give me psi n. And now you look at the integration is changing from the lower limit, it is carried out from minus infinite to plus infinite. So when you keep psi n at the one extreme end, that is at plus infinite, the wave function at infinity is zero, and psi n at minus infinite is also zero, both the extreme end. And so that's why this term was once again vanishes, because the wave function at infinity is vanishing. So this term is disappearing, Now you look at this. This is a minus sign here, and there is a minus sign here. So this minus minus ultimately gives you a positive sign, and the first term is 0. So we have a plus sign, and now the integration term, look at this. This is d by dx. Operating on d by dx gives you d square by dx square, operating on psi m star, right? This is psi m star, and this term, you see this is d by dx of psi n. This is an integration, and then your this is a differentiation, and you have integration. So this is you are basically differentiating with respect to x, and then you are integrating with respect to x. So it will give you only psi n, right? This is giving you psi n. So this is psi n. So now you will get this term. So this is d square by dx square psi m star psi n dx, and this d square by dx square is our operator, and this operator we have considered as a. This is our operator a, which we would like to test, this operator d square by dx square. So look at this term again, and please try to understand. So now I can write down, this is nothing but operator a, right? So this is basically operator. So we can write a psi m, because you see d square by dx was star. So I can combine this. A psi m d square by dx square is replaced by a psi m star, and I basically I can write this step as a combining a psi m, and you take a complex conjugate of the entire term sine dx. So ultimately we have a left hand side. The left hand side, what we have considered the left hand side, the left hand side is coming to the, when you solve this equation, you ultimately get the right hand side of this equation. So psi a psi n, this was our left hand side, and the answer which we are getting is nothing but a, this is nothing but the integral form of the bracket notation, and this is nothing but it is a scalar product of a psi m with psi m. So this is nothing but it is a condition of Hermitian operator. That means you see here psi m a psi n, where a is associated with the second factor, and here your a is associated with the first factor of the scalar product. So this is the condition for a Hermitian operator. So if the condition of Hermitian operator is satisfied, hence our operator A, basically operator hence A, which is basically d square by dx square, is a Hermitian operator. So your operator A is a Hermitian operator. So that you can prove with the help of this. So friends, there are several problems in quantum mechanics where you have to verify whether the operator given to you are Hermitians or not Hermitian. That can be verified. But there is another problem which I have selected, that will also help you to find out that operator is Hermitian or not. So here, let us say the problem with is example number 2, which we will now take, that if operator A and operator B are a Hermitian operator, show that the operator AB plus BA is a Hermitian, and the AB, that is operator AB minus BA, is not Hermitian. So first I will test the first term, that is the A operating on B plus B operating on A is a Hermitian. So let us take this problem and now we solve the condition. So this is the condition where I wrote a condition. If A is Hermitian, then this condition should be satisfied. Psi m, that is a scalar product of psi m with A psi m, should be equal to the scalar product of A psi m with psi m. If B is Hermitian, then the scalar product of psi m with B psi n should be equal to the scalar product of B psi m with psi m. Fine. So now we want to verify that for operator AB plus BA, if this is a Hermitian, then we have to verify its condition. So you see here, you take this left hand side, it is psi m A psi n. So our operator A is nothing but in our case, which operator we want to verify? We want to verify this product AB plus BA. So now your operator A is replaced by AB plus BA. So you look at this. I keep psi m, so psi m as it is. A, which I want, now I don't want to verify A, I want to verify AB plus BA. So A is replaced by our test operator AB plus BA operating on psi m. So this is basically A bracket notation. Now this bracket notation is, we are converting into the integral form. So this equation can be replaced by the integral equation. So this integral equation is here. So you have a psi m. So you have a psi m star AB plus BA psi m. This is the integral form of this integral. So now this integration, this integrand, we have a AB plus BA. So you can apply the distributive law and you can write down this psi m star operating on AB psi n dx will be the first term. So you see psi m star A operating on B, this unit psi n dx, this is the first term. The other term will be psi m star BA psi n. So psi m star BA psi n dx. This is nothing but this is you see this is the scalar product. This is also a scalar product. So this scalar product I write down in bracket notation. So first integration I write down in a bracket notation. So you see I wrote this bracket notation is here. I'm sorry. Let's see. So that let me come to this point. Yes. So this notation I write down by the bracket notation. So it is a scalar product of psi m with AB psi n, and this integration form is written as psi m BA psi n. Now here I would like to give you a very important uh, explanation that if A is an operator, A is Hermitian operator and B is an Hermitian operator, then the operator A followed by B, that is operator AB, I would say, right, is also a Hermitian, and there is a condition that they should commute with each other. They should commute with each other. Commute, if operator A commute with B, then you know that the commutator of operator A with B should be equal to 0, which I gave you the explanation in my previous lecture. But anyway, you please consider that here that operator A is a Hermitian, operator B is also Hermitian, then the AB, operation AB is also a Hermitian operator. and the operator BA is also a Hermitian operator. So now if AB is the Hermitian operator, then this scalar product can be written as, because this is, you see here, your uh, operator is associated with the second factor of the scalar product. So you can, if it is the Hermitian, then it should be associated with the first factor. So I can write down now AB psi with psi. So it is a scalar product of AB psi with psi. And similarly here also, here this operator is associated with the second factor of the scalar product. If it is Hermitian, then it is associated with the first factor with the, so it is BA psi. Please understand this step. A is Hermitian, B is Hermitian, then the operation AB is also Hermitian, and B operation BA is also Hermitian, and this is, you please remember that the operation AB, that is A followed by the B. You see, this AB operation is an Hermitian operator, but there is a condition that operator A and operator B should commute with each other. Then you can write AB is Hermitian. I mean, AB is a Hermitian operator. So here you please consider that A is Hermitian, B is Hermitian, and you please consider that they commute with each other. That you consider here. That is given here. So if it is commuting with each other, then the product AB is also a Hermitian and BA is also a Hermitian. So now if it is a Hermitian, then I can write down this scalar product as is equal to this, and then you have this scalar product is replaced by the factor BA psi. Please remember this. And now this is the bracket notation, and in this bracket notation now I convert into the integral form. So this is nothing but AB star psi star psi dx. This is the form you know now. Similarly here it is BA star, so it is BA star psi star psi dx. Right? Okay. Now you look at the next step. AB whole star. I wrote this law here. If you have a complex conjugate of AB, that is nothing but B star A star. Please remember this. This is the law which you have studied in complex algebra when you study the complex number. So here you see, you can write down AB whole star is nothing but B star A star. Then you have this integration, this integrand part is sine star sine dx. Similarly, B A star. So applying this law, it will be A star B star sine dx. So now you can combine these two integration, because this is also integration with respect to x. This is also with integration with respect to x. So I can combine this equation. So you can see this is B star A star, and then I write down this is A star B star, and this complete unit is operating on sine star sine dx. Okay. So now you see this integration. So now you can see this B star A star is nothing but AB star, right? And you can see this this also AB star. Yeah, this is A star B star. A star B star is nothing but B star. Please try to understand. B star A star. This B star. This should be equal to complex conjugate of AB star. So I write complex conjugate of AB star. Similarly, A star B star. You can write B A star psi psi. And now this the this combination AB complex conjugate of AB plus complex conjugate of BA is simply nothing but complex conjugate of AB plus BA. This is known to you. Complex conjugate of AB plus complex conjugate of BA is simply nothing but complex conjugate of AB plus BA sine star sine dx. And now you see this is nothing but the condition. You see the left hand side. Left hand side is sine AB plus BA, and that we have solved. This is nothing but it is equal to AB plus BA sine sine. So this is the scalar product. This scalar product. Here you see your operator AB plus BA is associated with the second factor of the scalar product, and here you see your operator AB plus BA is associated with the first factor of this. So when you get such condition, one can say that your operator AB plus BA is the Hermitian operator. So AB plus BA is Hermitian operator. Now I will give you the problem for your homework. Show that the operator AB minus BA is not Hermitian. You have to solve this problem. You see here I have solved the problem for AB plus BA. So whenever you want to solve this particular problem, you please write down the equation on a plain paper and derive it and show that AB plus BA is Hermitian, but AB operation minus BA operation is not Hermitian operator. Please solve this problem and do this exercise. Now let us go for the example number three, and we would like to verify whether the operator which I wrote here minus IH cross x position x d by dx is Hermitian. We want to whether it is Hermitian or not. So you see here I write down a condition for Hermitian operator. Now it is known to you that you take a psi scalar product of the eigenfunction psi with a psi should be always equal to the scalar product of a psi with psi. Your test operator A is nothing but it is minus IH cross x d by dx. This is my test operator. So I keep my test operator is minus IH cross x by dx. So you first take the left hand side of this equation. This is my left hand side. So left hand side is sine A sine. So sine, so you can see sine A, that is your operator A, test operator, which you want to verify whether it is Hermitian or not. So your A is replaced by minus I h cross x d by dx. So I write down minus I h cross x d by dx, and it is operating on sine. So it is operating on sine. And now let us simplify this integration. This is a scalar product in bracket notation. Now it is converted into the integral form. So this integral form, you have a psi star, so psi star, and you see it is minus I h cross you have x, so x as it is, then it is d by dx operating on sine. So this is d sine by dx, and you have to integrate with respect to x. So I write down dx. This is your integrand of this integration. Now this is a constant factor minus IH cross. So I write down minus IH cross outside, right? And the remaining term is sine star your position observable x, and you have a t sine by dx, and here you should write down this is it. There is a this is the integration. It is carried out with respect to dx. So here dx is missing. Please write down dx here. Okay. Now look at this term. Now look at the right hand side. So the left hand side we have solved. Now look at the right hand side. Right hand side is A operating on psi. That is, it is a scalar product of A psi with the psi. So you can see here I have solved this problem, and you see this is your A psi. So you convert into the integral form, right? So I write down A. You see A basically is replaced by minus IH cross x d by dx psi m. Here I put the value of A. Psi m remains as it is, and then psi m. So this bracket notation is now converted into the integral form. So integral form, you have to write down the first function you should have, right, the complex conjugate. It is so I write down minus IH x d by dx, right, star sine star sine dx. This is the definition, right? Now you see this minus sign, minus I, complex conjugate of minus I is plus I, so I have a plus I and H cross. So that IH cross I am taking outside the integration because it is constant. So I keep it outside. So inside the bracket, you have x d by dx whole star. So you can write this way here. X d by dx, right? This factor x d by dx. So it is x d by dx with whole raised to star. That is the complex conjugate of x d by dx. Then you can see sine star. So as sine star sine, so this is sine, and this is integrated with respect to x. So this is integrated with respect to x. So now you see our terms which we have obtained. This is the right hand side we have obtained. The right hand side is this, and look at the left hand side. The left hand side is minus IH cross integration from minus infinite to plus infinite sine star x d by dx operating on sine. So left hand side and the right hand side are not equal, right? And if it is not equal, the given operator is not Hermitian operator. So here we have taken at least 3 examples to verify the operator is Hermitian or not. I will give you an assignment problem where we will, I will give you that some test operator to verify the Hermitian operator, and you people derive it and try and solve this problem. So you will get feelings about the Hermitian operator and its operation, because you see that this is the operator whose eigenvalues are real, and that is this operator is playing very important part to understand some aspects of quantum mechanics here. So that you please solve when you have got an assignment. Now you see, as I said today, that I have some problem of commutator. So I now take the problems for the commutator. So these commutators, we have the very important first step, that we want to see the commutator of a position operator x with the momentum operator in one dimension px. We have already studied the commutator. If you have a commutator of A with B, then it is known as, if you want to solve this commutator, then you write down A operating on B minus B operating on A. This you have studied. So now look at this example number 4. Here I consider that you have a commutator of x with px. You see, I told you that x is not commuting with px. And if it is x is not commuting with px, then this commutator is non-zero. And if it is non-zero, then we want to show that, find out the value of that operate commutator, and it is always equal to IH cross. That means you see that this commutator, if they do not commute with each other, then one thing is, one thing one can conclude that these two observable cannot be measured simultaneously at the same time together. That means if you have the operator position for x, that is, it is representing the position of the particle, and this px operator basically is representing the observable. This is representing the momentum of the particle. So you cannot measure position and the momentum of the particle uh, at, simultaneously, right? There should be always an uncertainty occurs when you measure x and px simultaneously. Similarly, the y py, z pz, correct? So this particular uh, commutator is very important in quantum mechanics, and now we would like to solve this commutator. So you see, I solve this commutator. So I take the commutator x px. So first of all, whenever you have any commutator, you please take that this commutator operates on some function. To solve this, we should take some function. So I take the, to compute this commutator, I write this commutator, and it should, I take some function f of x. So let us consider that this commutator operates on some function f of x. And now you see, this is the commutator of x with px. So this is simply nothing but x operating on px minus px operating on x, and you have the function f of x, right? Now you know this is the momentum operator, so we write down its operator value, operator correspondence for position operator along x direction, that is in one dimension, right? Operator correspondence. So x, I write down x. Now px is nothing but that operator correspondence of momentum, that is minus ih cross d by dx. This you have studied. So when you see this is px, we write down minus ih cross d by delta x. There is a minus sign, so you have a minus sign. Again I have a px, so again I have an operator correspondence for px. So I write down minus ih cross del by del x, and it is operating on x. And you see this entire uh, function is operating on entire part or entire term is operating on some function f of x. So let us simplify this so we can see this is this now this term. So the first part of this, the first part is operating on f of x, and this is minus ih cross is constant, so I write down minus ih is constant. So this is x del by del x, and this term is operating on f of x, so I write down minus ih cross x del by del x operating on f of x. Now look at this term. This is a minus here, and you have a minus sign here, so it becomes plus. And here I write down ih cross, so this is ih cross, and then del by del x, And here you see it is a this entire function, I would say, is operating on an operand f of x. So it is nothing but IH cross del by del x, x f of x, x f of x. So you should write on x f of x. Right? This is your operand is f of x. And this is your operator. So operator operates on the operand, so you get this term. Now if you simplify this, look at this. So this is minus IH cross x del by del x of f of x, correct? This term, then I keep IH cross as it is, and now this is the integration of the product law. So you have to apply the integration for the product law. So first you keep x constant and differentiate f of x. And then you keep f of x constant and you differentiate x. So you see I keep IH cross outside, I keep x constant, and then I differentiate f of x with respect to x. So it is del by del x of f of x, right? And then you can see the second part. You can now, second part, you differentiate x with respect to x and f of x. This is f of x, right? Now you see that simplify the term. So this is minus IH cross x del by del x of f of x. And this is plus IH cross x del fx by del x. And simply this is nothing but del by del x of x is 1, because it is differentiation of x with respect of x is 1. So this is IH cross into 1 into f of x. So you see now the first two terms are equal in opposite in sign, so they cancels each other. So ultimately you get IH cross f of x. Now you see both the side u of f of x. So you can eliminate this f of x, right? This is also xpx commutator operating on f of x, IH cross f of x. So you can eliminate f of x from both the sides, and this is simply nothing but xpx commutator of xpx is always IH cross. This is a very important result in quantum mechanics. We will use this result frequently for many numerical problems and several theory where we want to understand the uncertainty relations in quantum mechanics. With this relation will be very, very useful. Similarly, you can write ypy equal to IH cross, zpz equal to IH cross. So x does not commute with px indicates that these two observable, that is the position as well as the momentum of the particle, cannot be measured simultaneously. That is the meaning. Now we go to the next problem, number 5. This is again showing you that there is a very simple law which we want to say. This commutator of AB with C, commutator of BC with A, commutator of CA with B, and you have to show that this is equal to 0. So very simple. Now you understand. So I first solve this inner commutator, right? So inner commutator is A operating on B minus B. So this is solved with respect to with C. Here you see I have solved this inner commutator first. So that is BC minus CB. You can see this part, right? And similarly here also I have solved the inner commutator here, CA minus AC. Right? Now, so you solve from innermost to the outermost. So first I solve the innermost, and now you solve the outermost entire. So this again you can see. Again I solve this commutator. So you can see AB minus BA. See this, you can look at the first commutator. This is commutator having these two terms. The second commutator will have these two terms, and third commutator is having these two terms. And as you see now, if you solve this arithmetic algebra, you can see that they will cancel each other and you will get 0. This is a very simple one. So I can, but you see this all example today which I taught you, you are requested that you solve it by you solve it on a paper. You write down on paper and solve it carefully. Write each step and derive it. Today I gave you the idea, right? How to solve such problems, right? So you people have to uh, derive the equation carefully uh, and prepare your note for various problems in quantum mechanics. Now you have an example number 6. You see I said that find the commutator of del by del x, first order differentiation, and del square by del x square. Very simple. So this commutator, I took this commutator, and whenever you will take a commutator, you take some function because it will operate on this. Because you require some operand here. So del by del x, del square by del x is operating on f of x. So now this is the commutator. So I solve this commutator, a operating on b minus b operating on a. So this is a operating on b, this is b operating on a. So this first term giving you del q by del x cube. The second term is giving you del q by del x cube. And you see this operating on f of x. So you can solve this integration. So I'm sorry, solve this step. So it will give you 0. It's a very simple step. You can understand. I wrote all the steps, so you can understand very carefully. Now the other problem is we have selected. Look at this problem. Find the commutator of del by del x with fx. This is a sum function. So I take this commutator and I take some function or a wave function operating on. I can take a g of x here also, no problem. So here I have taken a wave function psi. So you see I wrote wave function psi here. Now you can see this is the commutator. So I write down here a operating on b minus b operating. So this is the definition. I solve this. And now you see here, look at this. So this is operating on psi. So it is del by del x fx psi. You see I put in the entire this in parenthesis, right? F of x into psi is in parenthesis, and this is the I would say and this is the operand, and this is an operator del by del x operating on fx psi minus fx del by del x operating on psi. Now here you see again this is the product law. This is the product, right? Two functions here. There is a product of a function. So I keep f of x constant and I differentiate psi, right? Then I keep psi constant and I differentiate of f of x. And this is the step minus f of x del psi by del x. And these two terms are cancelling. So you have the terms left are del by del x of fx. The commutator operating on psi is equal to delta by delta x of fx with psi. Now you see this psi we can eliminate, right, from both the sides. So we have the final step is del by del x of fx is equal to differentiation of function f of x with respect to x. Friends, I have taken at least 5 to 6 problems today to give you the understanding of Hermitian operators as well as the commutators. We will also take several problems for commutators as well as the Hermitian operators next times. Okay. So I hope you will solve the problem, and I will now give you the assignments for several problems of Hermitian operator as well as the commutator operator. So when you solve these problems of assignments, I'm sure that you will understand the concept of the Hermitian operator as well as the commutators. So I will stop here, and I request you to solve the assignments and submit the assignment in time for your presence. Thank you very much.